Phoenix Suns traded out of the 6th spot for the 11th spot. They're on the clock right now. Matt, what do you expect the Phoenix Suns to do here at this point with the 11th overall pick?
Well, remember, when they traded out of this 6th spot, they clearly did this knowing that when they went back to where they went back, they were going to get a player that they didn't think they were going to have to compete for. They were comfortable in making this decision. They weren't over the moon about where they were at 6 and the prospects that were there, like a Hunter, a Garland, a Culver, a Kobe White, what have you there. Phoenix is fascinating because they're trying to get some sort of momentum. They've got some good young pieces there, and you hope that they can get a pick there that can do something, and they have selected Cameron Johnson. Okay, Cameron Johnson, number 11. Real quick here, Akeem.
No, you don't have to be quick. Take your time.
Okay. I had him at 18 on my mock draft, and I thought I was more ambitious than most.
Yeah.
This is why mock drafts are incredible, and draft night is amazing because nobody had this, okay? You never really know what an organization might be thinking. Here's the Cam Johnson story for you. He grows up in Pittsburgh. A coach told me this. I swore I wouldn't out who he was because he was familiar with the Cam Johnson recruitment. He was not seen as a major conference player. He winds up going to Pitt. His dad played there, and Jamie Dixon believed in him. So one of Jamie Dixon's assistants goes and watches Cameron Johnson in a pickup game against dudes in their 30s. Jamie Dixon offers Cam Johnson a scholarship, calls his staff, says, I just offered Cam Johnson a scholarship. His assistant hangs up the phone on Jamie Dixon. He calls back, he goes, hey, did I lose you there? He goes, no, I can't believe you just actually offered Cam Johnson a scholarship. The point is, only Pittsburgh thought that he was a worthy power conference player. Jamie Dixon swore by him. He grows into the best shooter in this draft. It's an amazing story because no one saw this for a long time, but he is built to succeed. Last point. If Phoenix thinks that Cam Johnson's the guy, he's going to step in and shoot 42% from 3 for the next 6-7 years. It doesn't matter if they took him 11th, 6th, or 26th. That's their guy. They buy in on him. I promise you, if he's a successful player, no one's going to be mocking the pick because I think in the immediacy of this, people are going to be like, what are you doing taking Cam Johnson in this spot? Might prove to be a good one.
So Jamie Dixon was right.
Jamie Dixon was right before anyone else.
He lost out.
Before anyone else.
Williams benefited.
But Jamie Dixon said, I think he's good enough to play Division I basketball at the high major level. He didn't say he should be the 11th pick in the draft.
No, he did not.
Text Jamie right now. I promise you he'd be like, I don't know about this.
I don't disagree.
Let me explain why you might do this if you're Phoenix first before I explain to you why you can't do this.
Sure.
They've got young, interesting pieces. They're ready to do something. They're
are
ready to try to break through. And I think that's partly why you trade for Dario Saric, somebody who can help. And now you add an older, he's going to be a rookie, but older than a lot of NBA veterans by the time he enters the league, in Cameron Johnson, undeniably great shooter, around 45%. If you're arguing for it, make that argument. Here's the problem. Imagine if you're a Suns fan waking up this morning thinking you're picking 6th and ended up with Cameron Johnson. Like, what?
Fair,
What?
but if you tell this, he is regarded as the best pure shooter in the draft. So maybe that's not enough, but you do have someone that is considered by scouts to be the best at one thing versus any other player. That is something. I wouldn't have gone 11th, but it is at least something in their favor.
The other part of this is if you want Cameron Johnson, you can trade down further than 11 to get him, I'm certain.
Right.
Keep in mind, Cam Johnson was not one of the 24 players invited to the green room at the NBA draft. And that's important because that's not something based off of mock drafts. That's off of intel from NBA franchises. Hey guys, who do you really think is going to be the first 15 picks, first 20 picks, first 25 picks? Cam Johnson didn't get an invitation. That suggests nobody outside of Phoenix thought he needed to go anywhere close to number 11. I'll give it a D just in case he ends up being a three-point contest winner someday. But this is wild to me, not what I would have done at all.
He was the only player last season to average at least 16 points per game, shoot at least 50% from the field, and 45% from beyond the arc. Avery, when you see a player like Cameron Johnson go as high as 11, what do you make of that?
Well, not just because his last name is Johnson, but I love this pick for the Phoenix Suns. Monty Williams, my old teammate with the Spurs, I think this is a pick where they're trying to space the floor a little bit more for Devin Booker. They're not bringing in Cam Johnson to be a distributor or a lockdown defender. They're not bringing him in because of his versatility to guard 4 different positions. They're bringing him in to knock down shots and to space the floor where his numbers actually matches his production. You know, shooters who can't shoot, as we were talking about Cam Reddish, or guys that don't make enough shots but have a reputation that they are shooters, this guy is a maker. And he's going to make a lot of threes in the Phoenix Suns uniform. And I think with all of the moves that the Phoenix Suns are making, they have their eyes on a point guard, either via free agency or via trade. Because for them to move back in the draft Cam Johnson with this pick, I think this is all a part of a greater and larger puzzle, and especially with their new coach, Monty Williams, trying to recreate the culture and bring in an older, experienced player in Cam Johnson.
Funny tweet from Zach Braziller, who works for the New York Post. He is at the NBA draft. Kobe White was just informed that his teammate Cam Johnson went number 11. Kobe White's response, "What? Wow, bro." So even Kobe White was caught off guard by this. First, Kobe White's hair caught off guard by Kobe White's hat.
I think Nasir Little caught off guard just as much.
Yeah.
His teammate at Carolina.
I imagine Nasir Little's also going, "What, bro?"
Yeah, I was supposed to be in the top 10.